Hi, I'm Caroline Stocks with Pig Health Today, and with me is Brad Schmitt, who's a swine veterinarian at Star Veterinary Service in Indiana. Brad, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, slaughter checks have become an important part of the work that you do with your veterinary service. Can you explain a little bit about why that is?
Yeah, so as a general rule, I believe that we as swine veterinarians do a really good job of recognizing and treating clinical diseases that may be causing an obvious morbidity and mortality in the population. I think we've got room to grow in recognizing subclinical issues that may not jump out at us, but they're still there and they're affecting finishing performance. So there are several issues that fly under the radar if we're not actively looking for them.
So what kind of problems are actually found during these checks that you might not see otherwise?
So some issues in particular, so I'll give a few examples. Atrophic rhinitis, it's an issue with the snout. In the past, it's caused some severely twisted snouts that are obvious on viewing those. Now it's become more of a subclinical issue where you might not see it in your live pigs, but essentially it's a damage to that filter that's removing particulate going into the lungs, so predisposing those pigs to more pneumonia and respiratory issues.
So how many pigs would you actually check in one visit?
On one slaughter check visit, you'd ideally check at least a couple of loads. So you may be looking at hundreds of pigs in a day. It gives us a good idea of what's going on with the overall population rather than just a few sick pigs that you might normally do a post-mortem on.
So what's actually involved in these slaughter checks?
So slaughter checks can be performed at your hometown packer or some of the big integrators, depending on who will work with you to get you in. So arrive at the packer ready to go, and you'll stand on the line and observe the viscera, cut some snouts, determine what kind of lesions those pigs might have.
And what type of arrangements do you have to make with the packing houses to do the slaughter checks?
Sometimes it is difficult to get in there without disrupting their production line, because you are right there on the line interacting with the USDA vet and other inspectors. So it'll have to be scheduled ahead of time. Some packers may be more willing to work with you than others.
And how do these checks differ to necropsies?
So on these checks, all the pigs are already opened up for you. It's a very quickly moving process. They're not always glaring issues. It might be that you detect some more subtle things that you wouldn't otherwise notice.
Do you expect these checks will become more widely used by veterinarians?
I think so. I think it's a very underutilized tool that we have. But as we've had ractopamine removed from our toolbox to help promote performance, I think we need to focus on other ways to do so. And one of those ways would be fine-tuning the health of our animals. And without knowing what kind of issues they may be having, it'd be difficult to prevent.
So is it something then that veterinarians have to produce as producers, or is it producers asking the veterinarians to carry these out?
I think it goes both ways. We need to do a better job of promoting them, making it a routine visit. But certainly if a herd wants to schedule something with a veterinarian, they can reach out and get that figured out.
All right, great stuff. We've been talking to Brad Schmitt, who's a swine veterinarian at Star Veterinary Service in Indiana. Brad, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.